positive mental health. They said therapy for therapy. Under that, my program is there. They said, do you think that therapists require therapy? I said, let me answer that. I said, you attend the program, I will answer in that. First question is that. Second question was by a young boy. He is working as a junior executive in some private company. His father has to go to Bengaluru. Therefore, he has asked his son to attend. He said, Uncle, are you going to talk about traveling allowance? Because the PA. How to, somebody has to, you have to mute your, are you going to talk about traveling allowance? Then I will attend the program so that I know how to save some money. I said, no, Baba, it is not traveling allowance. It is transactional analysis. They said, excuse me. I said, no problem. Now, coming to the first question of, do therapists require therapy? Lot of times, most of the people have an impression, psychiatrists, counselors, psychologists, all these people, they may not require any therapy. In the sense, they are trained in the field of psychology, psychiatry, psychotherapy, counseling. But here I will give two examples. One is, when I attended the program of behavioral science, it was first ISAPS, Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Scientists. I was there. A 3 summers program. By the time I came to the second program, they have split. A behavioral science trainers group split because they couldn't get along with each other. They have started the second one, ISISD, Indian Society for Individual and Social Development. Second program and third program I attended there. What does it mean? They may be top class behavioral science trainers, but they are not in a position to get along with each other sometimes. And second is, I want to quote an example of a friend of mine. I don't want to tell his name. He's a famous psychiatrist. He was trained in London and he is a member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists. He came back to Rajahmundry, which is in Andhra Pradesh. He started his practice. Wonderful practice, excellent wife, one son. Slowly he became habituated to drinking and eventually has become a drunkard. And you cannot imagine, all of us try to take care of him. I said, you are a psychiatrist. No, I enjoy my drink. I know what I am doing. We couldn't, of course. We lost him 3-4 days back. Therefore, even therapists require therapy. Therefore, but the only thing, the advantage therapists are having is that their personal issues, they will keep aside when they are dealing with the counseling or somebody who has come for help a patient. Like that, they will try to manage. Therefore, therapists also require therapy. Now, coming to the main topic, I'm going to talk not about traveling allowance. I'm talking about transactional analysis. I think most of you might have heard about Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud is known as the father of psychoanalysis. He is actually an Austrian neuroscientist. In course of time, he has developed a theory by name psychoanalytic theory has developed. And his theory is mainly based on 3 aspects. One is known as id. Id is mainly concerned with the biological aspects of the personality. Then he talks about ego. Ego is connected or concerned with the psychological aspects of the personality. Then he talks about superego, which talks about social aspects of the personality. He developed this thing and a lot of practice was there. But each patient requires a lot of sittings, a number of sittings. Sometimes 6 months, sometimes 1 year, sometimes 2 years. That is why people call it as a couch practice. In the sense, patient will be sitting in the couch, doctor will be sitting in the chair, and he'll be going on discussing, understanding things like that. And this gentleman, Dr. Freud, lived for 83 years, from 1856 to 1939. But later on, somewhere in the 1970s, Eric Berne has come into the horizon of psychoanalysis. He is also a Canadian-born psychiatrist. He has seen this practice. He was practicing as per the theory of Sigmund Freud. But later on, when he was treating patients, he observed that during the session of 2 hours or 3 hours, there is a lot of changes in the behavior of the patient. His facial expressions are changing. His gestures are changing. His tone is changing. So many things he's observing. He was wondering, what is this happening to these people, these patients, these persons? Then slowly, after observing a lot of number of patients, he has come to a theory known as personality theory of transactional analysis. What he's talking about is that every time when he sees a person, you can understand that he's not a single person. He is having three persons inside him, which he calls as three egos inside him. Therefore, he says when you are treating a person, that means you are treating three. Now, what are the three persons he's talking about? Sunanda, can you present a slide 5? Sunanda? Is Sunanda is there? Okay.
She is there, sir. She might be.
Can you ask her to present slide 5?
Sure. I'll call.
Sudha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Slide 5, can you present? Or go for slide 2 onwards, no problem. Slide 2.
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. Friends, please note to stop me at any point of time. Ask for questions. I'll be very happy if you try to pull my leg and make me fall. You ask me tricky questions, you ask me provoking questions, anything, I am ready to answer because I have seen the world, I have experienced myself, no problem. You can stop me and ask me. You are in a position to see the slide. This is the 5th
Yes,
slide, which is talking about the ego states. When we are talking about ego states, there are 3 types of ego states in each personality. One is known as the parent ego state, second is known as adult ego state, third is known as child ego state. Therefore, every person will have 3 ego states. I hope you can see the slide. Can you read the slide, friends? Is it too small? Sunanda, can you make it big?
Yes, sir. It's big only. Ego state.
Can you, because I am not in a position to read the small print there.
No, it is very clear. Very
Clear?
Yeah,
Very clear. Then it is okay. Then please remember, when we are talking about the ego states, they are not fixed. It is known as in the psychic energy flows from one ego state to other ego state. It is said, they say, semi-permeable membrane about the psychic energy flowing from one ego state to other ego state. What is this parent ego state? Let us first come to the question of parent ego state. When a child is born, before a child is born, he is in the womb. He is not having any identity. He is only having food from the mother's umbilical cord, through his umbilical cord, and he is happy there. Once he is delivered, people call him as a Hindu, or a Muslim, or a Christian, or a Jain, or whatever it is. Oh, my Brahmin son has born. My Kshatriya son is born. Something. He is going to develop my business. He is going to do Purohacham. He is going to fight for the country. All these things happen. And when the child is born, I don't want to use the word, but he is bombarded with lots of messages. Verbal messages, non-verbal messages, so many messages the kid will receive. And also physically, they will handle it. For example, he may have mother's breast milk, then he'll feel more happy. If he's having a bottle milk, he may feel not happy. And mother hugs him, he will feel happy. Father hugs him, he will feel happy. And suddenly mother is in a hurry. She throws means she puts in a harsh way on the bed the baby. Baby again feels it. All these experiences, the boy and the girl, the little kid will record in the mind. Because verbal cues, non-verbal cues, touch, everything is recorded in the brain of the little kid. But little kid is not developed. His adult is not developed. His logic is not developed. His rationale is not developed. Therefore, he will automatically record everything unedited. There is no editing. Everything is recorded as it is. Therefore, parent ego in a child develops because of the recording, unedited recording of the parental messages. When we are talking about parent, we are not only talking about mother and father. We are talking about significant personalities which move around him, like aunt, uncle, grandfather, grandmother, siblings, elder siblings, and all those people. As the kid grows, teachers will be there, I will be there. All these people's influences, their verbal, non-verbal cues are automatically recorded in the kids, that is boy or girl's brain. Therefore, parent ego state means, please remember, it is known as taught concept of life. That means TAUGHT, taught concept of life. He has recorded everything as he has from father, mother, significant personalities. That is known as the parent ego state. Second is known as the, I will come to the adult ego state later on, child ego state. Child ego state is all the stimulus which child is facing will have some reaction, some feelings, some impulses inside. All those things are also recorded in the child's brain, which is become the part of the child ego state of the child. Child doesn't know how to modify the response, because whatever the stimulus the child gets, automatically there is some feeling, some impulse, some uneasiness, some happiness. All those things are there. Mother is giving milk, he feels happy. Mother gives food to him, and he feels happy. Mother neglects him, he feels unhappy. All these things are recorded in his brain, which is known as child ego state. This child ego state develops unedited. In the means, all the recordings are there in the child ego state. Therefore, parent ego state, unedited, recorded messages from the significant parental authorities. Child ego state is also recorded feelings because of the stimulus from outside, unedited, recorded in the child ego state. Please come to the 9 or 11. Come to the 11th slide, please. Slide 11. 11, Sunanda? Is it 11? Is it 11?
Yes.
Okay. Then, if you see this slide, if you have gone through, in the parent ego state also, there are again two parts. One is known as a nurturing parent, another is known as the critical parent. What are the positive messages? What are the loving messages? What are the way lovingly was cuddled, verbal and non-verbal, all are recorded in the nurturing parent. And all criticism, all opinions, prejudices, superstitions, everything is recorded in the critical parent says. Therefore, when the kid is there in his mind, please remember, parent ego state is also again divided into two parts. One is known as a nurturing parent, another is known as a critical parent. These two are part of the parent ego state of the kid. Now, coming to the child ego state. In child ego state, he is naturally born with joy, happiness, and carefree life. That is, and he automatic response. Without much thinking, he will give a response. It is known as a natural child. Joyous, happy, bouncing one. And another is the mother is unhappy, father is unhappy, or some grandfather scolds. He will become complaint. He will be whining. He will be unhappy. All those things are recorded again in the adopted child. Then there is a third part, which is most of the people not very keen about knowing it. It is known as LP, Little Professor. Because if you have seen the kids, most of the kids are inquisitive. They want to explore. They want to understand. They want to experiment. If you give a toy, he will try to make into reassemble. And somebody was telling me, please remember, when you give toys to the kids, it is for the kids to explore. Don't try to keep the toy intact. That means you are killing the instinct, inquisitive instinct of the kid. Therefore, toys are meant for being broken into different pieces. They may reassemble or not. That is a different issue. Therefore, please remember, again in the child ego state, we will have an adopted child, natural child, and little professor. Now, coming to the adult. Generally, the adult develops at a very later stage, because adult means logical, rational thing. Please remember, when I said parent is a taught concept of life, and child ego state is known as the felt concept of life, because all feelings are recorded there. Now, coming to the adult is a rational part, but it is not immediately developed in the kid. As kid grows, please remember, adult ego state is not connected with the age only. Even a child, an 8-year child can have much more developed adult than a 60 years old man. Therefore, but as the kid grows, he will try to gather the data, try to interpret, try to explore and say, What mother said is not correct. What father said is not correct. What my elder brother said is not correct. Or this is correct. This is okay. Unnecessarily, I'm feeling unhappy. No, I need not feel unhappy. Mother has gone out. Therefore, she may be delayed for giving me food or milk to me. All these rational thinking, logical thinking will develop. It is something like a computer. If you have seen, originally we are having 2 GB or 1 GB mobiles. Now we are having lot of, like the computer also, if you have seen, originally it is a huge computer with little memory. If we are having nowadays, latest computers are very small but with huge memory. Like that, as the adult grows, adult develops data processing, reality testing, and all the data accumulates, and it is something like a mini computer in the children's brain. That is why it is known as a thought concept of life. Thought concept of life. Parent is thought concept of life because he has learned from, he has taken instructions from his significant parents. And child is a felt concept of life because all his feelings are recorded. Adult ego state is known as thought, T-H-O-U-G-H-T, thought concept of life. Therefore, for a second, I will stop here. Any questions you can ask. All my friends, any questions till now about ego states?
Very clear.
Okay. Then, now, let us come to how to identify these ego states. Because when you are talking about ego state, again, please remember, these ego state concept is different from what Sigmund Freud talked about, it, ego, and superego. It is connected with the biological aspect of the person. Ego is connected with the psychological aspects of the person, whereas superego is connected with the social aspects of the person. Whereas parent ego state is the thought concept of life. Adult ego state is the thought concept of life. Child ego state is the felt concept of life. Whereas if you observe any person, go closely and keenly, you know from which ego state he is operating. Please tell me from which ego state I am operating now. Friends, which ego state I am operating?
Parent.
Adult.
Adult.
Adult to adult. My scenery is like a
You are teaching us, so parent.
okay, your interpretation is also acceptable, but generally, when I'm talking, when I'm giving a talk to you from my adult, as Berlin said, adult to adult, I'm communicating. Then, for example, Stephen may say, what nonsense he is talking. Therefore, he is operating from his child. Somebody say, wow, Mr. Dinakara is talking very nicely. He is operating from nurturing parent. Somebody may say, some mistakes are there in his talking. Therefore, he is talking from the critical parent of stage of his personality. Therefore, what I am saying is, different times when I am operating with you, there are 46 people there attending the program now. That means 3 of mine with 46 multiplied by 3. But if you go to second structure analysis, that means adult, CP, that is critical parent, nurturing parent, or adopted child, natural child, little professor. That means each person is having 6. 6 into 46 into my 6. These are the things which we are operating. Now, Sunanda, can we go to the, now we have broadly understood what are the ego states. Can we go to the, how to identify these ego states? Sunanda, can you go to the 18? Slide number 18. Sunanda, you have to give the modified one which I have sent to you.
Yes, sir.
But you are using your old one, original one. In here, doesn't matter. You see, if you see that in the nurturing parent, the voice is there. Critical parent voice is there. In nurturing parent, if you see, can somebody, Merlin, read it? Nurturing parent voice.
It is soothing, comforting, tender, loving, gentle, caring, concern.
Critical.
Critical is loud, sharp, angry, questioning, condescending.
Okay. Vocabulary.
Can I help you?
Do not worry. Everything is okay. Nice. Good. I love you. Cute. Fine.
Critical.
Do it. Do not be naughty. You should be bad. You should not be bad. You must do this, and so on.
19. Can you go to 19, Sunanda? Please.
Gestures, nurturing parent, arm around shoulder, hugging, open arms, accepting, and warm smile. Critical parent, grim-lipped, tense, rigid, and frowns. Gestures, body language, shows concern, gives encouragement. I think gestures, body language, critical parent is pointed finger. Then there is general attitude of a nurturing parent, shows concern, gives encouragement, understanding, caring, and giving. While a critical parent is all judgmental and moralistic, of a nurturing parent are warm, happy, encouraging, while that of a critical parent are disapproving look, frown, and stern.
Thank you. I think every one of you can read it, isn't it? Therefore, I won't trouble Berlin again to, and go to the adult 20, item, slide number 20. Now you can read it, I hope. Our participant, can you read it? Buchiram?
Yes, we can read it.
Then you just have a look at it, because instead of my repeating and do, these are all the adult ego state. How is the voice? How is the vocabulary? How is the gestures, facial, etc. Next, go to the child ego state, 21, 22, 21 and 22. You see this. Again, child ego state, natural child, how his voice is there, how are the vocabulary, and adopted child, what is the voice, what is the vocabulary. 22. Slide 22. You see. I hope now broadly you understood about the Buchiram Suri. Are you following? Okay. Now, up to this we have covered ego states. Now, the second part of it is transactions. When we are talking about transactions, when two people are there, there will be a stimulus and there will be a response. That unit is known as stimulus and response unit is known as transaction. Therefore, in the transactional analysis, there are three types of transactions. One is known as complementary transaction. Therefore, for example, I say, Seenu means my friend who is attending the program. Seenu are in a position to hear what I am saying. He says, okay, Dinakar, I am in a position to hear. Then it is known as a complementary transaction. I ask Buchiram Suri, are you attentive or not? What are you saying, sir? I'm attentive. Why you are questioning me? Then I may feel bad or he may feel bad. That is known as a cross transaction. Then third transaction is known as a manipulative transaction or ulterior transaction. I can't give example here, but for example, boss says to the private secretary, who is a beautiful woman, my wife has gone for a day or two. Can you come in the evening and have a cup of coffee with me? What does he mean? He's openly saying, I would love to have a cup of coffee with you. But undercurrent may be different. It all depends upon the relationship between the private secretary and the boss. That is known as ulterior transaction. If you go to some shops, you want to purchase something. That salesman will say, sir, it is beyond you. It is too costly, you can't purchase. He is tempting your child. He is trying to hook your child to say, no, I can spare the money, I'll purchase it. That is also known as ulterior transaction. These transactions are there, cross, complementary, and ulterior transactions. Therefore, now broadly, we have said about ego states and transactions, how to identify ego states. But transactional analysis theory consists of 150 other things. For example, it also talks about the game analysis. It also talks about the life scripts. It also talks about, in the games, they talk about the persecutor, victim, and rescuer. In the game analysis, and also life scripts are also there. I can't cover, I am not going to cover, because I used to cover this transaction analysis in our training college for 2 days. Therefore, I will only broadly help you to broadly understand. Then I will suggest some books which you may go through in course of time. Okay. Now, coming to this, there are three things I want you to remember. One is some people are getting stuck. Can you please take item number 26, slide 26. Sunanda, 26. There are some people always in constant adult. That means ego boundaries are so rigid, he always in constant adult. That means he's always thinking rational, logical. Very rarely shows emotions. Very rarely puts his hand around you. Very rarely consoles you. If you go with him to him and say, sir, severe headache I'm having, the question you will ask is, have you finished the task I have given? Instead of saying, Ali, how are you feeling? Nothing. He is like an adult computer. Therefore, most of the people who are working with him are starved of pattings or affection from him. And if he's posted as a person, marketing executive, where he has to move with a lot of people, motivate them, it will be too tough for him. Therefore, constant adult means always logical, rational, thinking person. Even if he goes to the beach, he will not enjoy, he will not jump with joy. He will simply sit there and stare at everybody. What these silly fellows are doing, unnecessarily wasting time. That is known as constant adult. Constant parent means either you are constantly nurturing, you are maybe a great motivator, but always you are hugging and taking care of people, you are saying good words and etc. Very rarely you criticize. Like that critical parent, always you are pouting, you are showing your finger, you are criticizing. Always you will be there. Therefore, constant parent, constant adult. Constant child, this fellow is not bothered with logical consequences. He always wants to enjoy. Everything he wants is for himself. And these people will become great stage actors, cine actors. Sometimes they are also great sportsmen. Mainly that person, constant child means he concentrates only in himself. Up to this I have covered now. Now, I am not going to cover the remaining aspects of all those things. But only one thing we have to remember. As a child, the transactional analysis experts say, by the age of 7 or 8, child, depending upon whatever the data is having in his adult, and whatever the taught concept in his parent ego state, whatever the felt concept in his child ego state, they say, by the age of, sometimes they say between 6 and 8, he charts out his life path. He says, my life path, my life plan is going to be like this. And whatever may be the circumstances, whatever may be the changes which may happen separately, he is going to stick to that life pattern. Sometimes he may say, I am going to be a failure. Sometimes he is going to say, I am going to be a crew. Sometimes he is going to say, I am going to be deep. All these things, life pattern, life path, life plan, I was surprised when I read it. It is decided by the age is between 7 to 8, 6 to 8. Then, what will happen as he grows in the life? Always is guided by the life plan. Whatever the experiences he had as a child, whatever the parental concept is having, prejudices, opinions, superstitions, everything. I will give an example. One of my cousin is there in Banjara Hills. Her husband has to go for 3 days to Bangalore. And it is a 3-bedroom, beautiful house. But she's afraid to sleep alone. She's around 60 years. But she says, Anna, I can't sleep. She will go to another cousin's place and sleeps. Knowing pretty well house is a multi-story, multi-number of flats are there. Everything is there. But even then she feels, this is a child. Therefore, how? Once you are aware of your life script or life plan, once you are aware of this broad transaction analysis, you will be in a position to change. That sometimes requires your own effort, sometimes you require counseling also. Now, with a little background I have given about transaction analysis, how it is going to improve myself. Please remember, if you are going to strengthen your adult, if you are going to keep your adult as the executive, then your life is going to be much more easy. Because if you remember the cricket game, somebody with a bat standing there, and somebody will be throwing balls. And life throws different balls, different challenges to you. If you are a child in the ego state, you will swing in such a way that it may
Voice, Dhankar, you're on mute. You're unmute yourself.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Dhankar,
Steve. Because
unmute.
suddenly some phone call come and disconnected. That is the problem with the mobile. Now, as I'm talking about how to strengthen the adult, most important thing is remember, you have to keep adult as always executive. If you remember, you have taken your small kids, children to the beach. You always watch them where they are going, whether they are going to get into the water, any problem they are going to get. And for example, your elder parents are there. You will take, when they are crossing the road, you will take them by hand and ask them to cross. Like that, adult has to be executive always. Then you have to strengthen the adult. How to strengthen the adult? That please remember. Eric Berne says every adult is like a mini computer. It has to be properly turned on and tuned in to receive signals and convey signals. That means always you have to see whether anything which is coming to you, whether this is reality tested. Where from this, I'm talking about the stimulus from outside and inside what you're thinking. For example, I'll tell you, if somebody knocks at the door of your life, who is going to go there first? Primary circuits are occupied by child and parent. They go first. Adult go slowly. In the actual real life situation also, you are having small kids in the house. In your house, somebody knocks at the door. Kids go running to open the door. Mommy, daddy, somebody has come. Like that, in any stimulus from the external side, first your primary parent or child is going to react. Therefore, you have to activate your adult and say whether this situation requires child's response or parent response. All those things, adult has to decide about this thing. Therefore, how can adult decide? Therefore, lot of superstitions, lot of opinions, lot of beliefs are there. Sometimes they call it as adult contaminated by parent. That means you think that this particular community is bad. Let us say X community is bad. When I was in Delhi, they used to say, if you see a snake and this particular community fellow, first to kill this snake, first to kill this fellow, then the snake. Where from this prejudice has come? From the parent. When the child, they said this particular community is bad, that particular tribe is bad, and etc. But adult gets contaminated. You have to see what are the contamination in the adult. And like that, child contaminates adult. What that means? As a young man, you see a beautiful girl, you feel like going and hugging her. Where from this has come? From the child. Child wants to go and hug everybody, do that. But again, you have to say, is it okay to do all those things? Please remember that every time when you say, therefore, you have to say whether my adult is operative or not. You will be surprised. For example, we are in a bank. How are you, Prasad Rao? Welcome. Now, some basic values you have to have, basic ethics and values you have. For example, I'll give a personal example. My CEO also knows it. Kasturi knows it. Prasad Rao, everybody knows it. When we joined the bank, we know we are dealing with the cash and sanctioning loans and etc. And there will always temptation. Somebody wants to offer money to compromise some principle and sanction a loan to you. But when we joined, we had to confirm when we are growing in the organization, we took a decision, we will not take bribes. Therefore, somebody comes with 10,000, you won't take it. Somebody comes with 1 lakh, you won't take. Somebody comes with 20 lakhs, your principle is you will not take bribe. Therefore, even 20 lakhs, you will not touch. I'll give a small example. One of my credit officer, his name is he has become subsequently CGM also. His name is Saswat Chatterjee. Saswat Chaudhary, sorry. And he has gone to Bombay for some visit to the customer. Next day he has come. He came to my room when I was GM credit. His face was reddish. He came with a small box. I said, Saswat, what happened? Why you are looking so downcast? Sir, when I was coming in the train, the GM of that company gave this box. I thought they are sweet box. When I came home and I saw there are something like 1 lakh rupees there. He doesn't know how to handle it. I too don't know how to handle it. Therefore, I went to my boss, MD at the time, C.K. Mehrotra, very honest gentleman. He said, Dinakar Rao, very lovingly, call that fellow, that GM or his boss, and explain to him this is not our system. Therefore, my friend has asked him to come. That GM's boss, vice president, has come. When he came, I asked Saswat Chaudhary to come, made him sit, and that man was saying, I said, have you brought my 5 lakhs? He was surprised, what 5 lakhs? You gave to my AGM 1 lakh, double it for DGM 2 lakhs, and GM 2.5. Therefore, you have to get me 5 lakhs. He said, sorry, sir, we will not do in future. I said, in our bank, this culture is not there. Prasad, do you agree? Kasturi, Sino, everybody. All my SBH people, they know that we stand on the integrity and values. And then I went to C.K. Mehrotra and told him what I have done. He said, what, Dinakar? What you have said? You should have said lovingly. I said lovingly only, smilingly only. I said, therefore, you should have basic values. And once you have a framework of values and all those things, as you grow in the life, as you move in the life, every small decision you need not take. Please remember, if you're honest and sincere, you can look at the face of any customer, and if he's not behaving properly, you can ask him to close the account and leave the bank. That should have the guys. But this comes out of the basic values. Then, please remember, you would have built up some ideas, some values, some ethical frame. As you grow, things are modifying. Every 3 years or 5 years, you have to re-look at what are the values. Every time you have to refresh based on the social foundations, religious moorings, and teachings, moralities, ethics, and etc. But basic value that we are not going to cheat somebody, you have to stick to that. Please remember, this is going to be the life pattern as you go in course of time. Therefore, almost 7:11, because Sunanda said 6:30 to 7:15 is the time. 4 minutes is there. Therefore, Sunanda, can you kindly go to the books? That is, books are in which last page, I think. Sunanda, books reference, can you go? That is something like 20, 30. Before I touch this, I want you to remember one concept which was developed by Jack Dussay, Jack Dussay in 1974. He is the man who propounded the theory of constancy. He says psychic energy is constant in the sense, let us say it is 100. It is divided among your parent, your adult, and your child. Adult, CP, NP, in the child, little professor, natural child, and adapted child. Please remember the total energy, let us say X or 100. If you want high levels of technicalities, they don't encourage from their syllabus, they have removed these 2 books. You cannot find, I am okay, you're okay, I'm staying okay. These 2 books are not there. I was surprised. Even ITA, highly developed so-called transactional analysis people, they don't like Thomas Harris and Amy Harris books. But you can read the other books. Then one of the very good books I have read is Choosing Success by Philip Sayers and Dorothy Junior Ward. And then final book I can recommend is TA Today, a new introduction to transaction analysis by Ian Stewart and Vian Joins. These are very good books, and I want you to go through these books. But again, small things I'll share with you. In 2000, I will tell you, 1991, I was, for Prasad Rao, I was IRD department AGM. Then one of my librarians wanted me to come and see the library new books. There I went and saw, there is Staying Okay book by Amy Harris. I took the book, I read the book. I was so much influenced by the book. I said, wow, this is the book. Then you'll be surprised, I purchased 4 books. One I gave to my daughter who is in Atlanta now. Of course, she's around 48. Second book I gave to another friend. His name is Ranjit. He is in Boston. Another I gave to my another nephew, Anil. who is in Texas. And that is my close friend. His name is N. Subbarao. And when in 1991-92, even now when I ask them, even my own daughter says, Daddy, I have read only up to 40 pages. All my friends say 20 pages, 30 pages. I know pretty well. I have recommended so many books. I am not sure how many people will purchase or read them. But I'll be very happy if you read them. And if anybody is interested to get the last book, TA Today, a new introduction to transactional analysis, send me an email, dinakar57@gmail.com. I will enclose that book to you. I got that book downloaded. I got them printed. I got them bound also. But if you want, if anybody is interested, please send an email to me because there are 37 people there. Anybody sends email, I will attach that book and send to you by Gmail. Therefore, friends, now at this point of time, I will stop. Can you kindly ask questions, if any? Please remember, you can ask me any type of question. Tricky question, provoking question, personal questions, anything. Okay? Now, I think Sunanda has put my one slide. It is about the book I have written. It is not about transaction analysis, please remember. It is a book of poems written by me, published somewhere in 2014. The book's name is The Ramblings. You see, Sunanda, can you read the word that says, the wording? Read, Sunanda.
I can read it. Come take a journey, the circle of life with the enigmatic poems featured in the Ramblings.
Thank you, Shilpa. What I'm saying is, this is the book I've written way back in 2014. Whenever some close friend comes to me, I will give it to him. If anybody wants that book as a complimentary copy, they have to come to my house and take it. You'll be surprised. My close friend Kastur Nageswar Rao has purchased 10 books and given to all his friends. Not that I'm asking you to purchase 10 books. See, no, don't worry. But that book, it has come as inspiration. Over a period of 1 or 2 years, I wrote this book, starting when I was in Minneapolis long back. But it is a good book. Now, last slide is not prepared by Sunanda. Sunanda, go to the last slide. Alright? No. I have my slide you have to put. Though I said thank you, this will be surprise. These slides, 37 slides, are prepared by Sunanda, who is the coordinator, who is the admin, who is the originator of the Deccan Positive Mental Health Group. Yesterday I have sent my paper to her. Within a period of half a day, she prepared beautiful 37 slides. Hats off to her. I'm not having hat, but anyhow, Sunanda, thanks to you. Hats off to you for preparing beautiful slides. If anybody wants slides, they can ask Sunanda. She will send the slides to you by WhatsApp or email. Okay. Thanks, friends. Because
Yes, thank you, sir. Should we
7:15.
share in groups?
Any questions you can ask. You don't tell me you are not having any questions to ask. That means it has gone beyond your head. Nothing entered your head. Or you are not bothered to ask. Or you are dumbfounded by the eloquency of my speech.
Very well covered, sir.
Thank you very much.
Nice to hear you. Very nice to hear you.
Thank you, Santanu.
Not much of questions, but you have covered it in a very simple language, in a very simple way. And the most impressive thing is that what all we have been hearing in our career is being refreshed by your nice speech. That's a great help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Santanu. Santanu was managing director of State Bank. One of a wonderful person. He was with me. He was in Paris. Excellent person. He's still very busy. Out of 24 hours, at least 12 hours he's busy. Thank you, Santanu.
I completed my meeting early only to hear your speech.
I know. Thank you, Santanu. Nice of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Marilyn, no questions. Sudha, nobody is there questions. Sunanda,
So
I did.
participants ask questions. I'll ask last.
You will ask last question?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. Any ask? Nobody is asking now.
Dinakar sir, this is Neeta here. I have a question.
Neeta,
It's a very
Shashi.
simple one.
Shashi,
Yeah.
Shashi, tell me.
Shashidharan.
Shashi
Yeah.
Dharan. Solungo.
Yes. Yes.
For you.
It's a very simple question.
Please.
You see, I have read the book Born to Win. I read it completely, the entire book. I had two books with me, but then one I lost when I was relocating, and one I gifted to somebody. Because I read that book, though I came in late into this webinar, there was one particular area when you spoke about the exchange of child, parent, adult, one of that, and two is that children between the age of 6 and 7, by the age of 6 and 7, whatever they learn, they pick up in all these three exchanges, these three transactions, they apply that in adulthood. So my question is, when we say adulthood, would it mean that it is between the age of 24 to 40, or would it continue even after 40? Because when we say adulthood, we also talk about midlife. So when we say midlife, it is again after 40. So when we say adulthood, what is the correct age band that we can look at? That these whatever they transactions that they learn, they apply.
Okay. Can I answer, Nita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Please remember, when I talk about adult, it is not adulthood. I was talking about adult ego state. When the child is born, he is having the parent ego state, which is thought concept and a felt concept. Adult is very slow to develop. When I talk about the adult ego state, it is not adult. It is the adult ego state of the child. Even a 7 years or 6 years kid sometimes acts much more logically, rationally than a 60 or 70 years man. Therefore, it is not connected with the age. Adult ego state will generally develop because the primary circuits are occupied by parent and child. Slowly develops. Reality testing, exploring, trying to find out which is correct, which is not correct. By the experience the child will have is the adult ego state. Adult ego state develops. It is not at all connected with the age. If you have seen some of the elderly people like 70 years or 60 years, they'll be behaving like child. That doesn't mean they're not an adult. Their child is strong in them. There are some 12 years or 15 years kids who always criticize younger kids. That means their parent ego or critical parent is strong there. But everybody is having adult. The only thing I was talking, most of the time, the TA's main focus is on how to keep adult ego state as the executive. Therefore, if you reality test it, you are having value-based principles, and everything you are going to say, how this idea has come to me, why this idea has come to me, where from this idea has come to me, is it correct in the present circumstances? That means your adult data is being processed. Therefore, adult is something like adult ego state is something like a computer. That means very rarely they will have feelings. But generally, psychic energy flows from one ego state to other ego state. From three ego states, as I said, semi-permeable, permeable membrane. Psychic energy flows from parent to adult child. Therefore, in 1 hour, you may see somebody's child being dominant. Sometimes his critical parent is dominant. Sometimes adult is dominant. Therefore, I hope, Rita, I have clarified. It is not connected with adulthood at all. Clear?
Yeah, I got that point. So what I'm trying to understand is, the patterns that a child picks up by that age, 6, 7 years of age, the same patterns they apply in, when they become adults.
Yeah, life.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
a life plan, it draws the life plan by the age of 7 or 8.
Now, I'll give you an example.
Please.
Okay. It's an example of my own, because I apply all these learnings to my life to understand, what it is.
Please.
So, by the age of 6 and 7, and during the age of 6 and 7, that is something which I applied during my adulthood. You getting my point? So
So
similarly, what kind of
end the
age, in the sense, like, does it
Last
begin?
one.
One
by
second, Nita.
20?
With 1 second,
Yeah.
Nita. Somebody is talking. Sunanda,
Yes.
can you mute all others except Nita and
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, I did.
Except me and Nita.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, Nita, go ahead.
So what I want to understand is, did I pick it up, or did I start applying it after 21, or did I start applying it after 24? When was it that I started applying it? You know,
Ah.
that particular pattern, which brought me to become a trainer coach today.
That is,
Right? So, yeah.
Continue.
So what I wanted to understand is, when a child, see, because I have, even Sigmund, this is mainly, the idea is mainly from Sigmund Freud's thought. In fact, he has said that any child by 6 and 7, whatever he picks up, in terms of thought, feelings, and emotions, he applies it in adulthood. So, so what I wanted to understand it is, when does that adulthood begin, where these patterns are applied?
No, if you have seen your own life, even at the age of 6 or 7 or 8, you are applying that pattern.
Yeah, I picked up
You're a
that
teacher.
pattern during that.
No,
Yes, so
you are a
it
teacher.
kind of-
You are a teacher. You
Yeah.
are teaching. You are playing teacher, student, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And all your parents have encouraged, saying, "Yeah, this girl may become a teacher."
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, in your, that is known as a script. In your script, you would have written at the age of 7, 8 itself, I would love to become a teacher.
Mm.
But you cannot become a teacher at the age of 8, isn't it?
Yes.
You cannot become a teacher, means actual teacher going to school like and teaching there, like my daughter Shilpa teaches in Baswa International in Delhi, as Merlin taught in Hyderabad. But as you grow, that constant feeling inside that your life script, I may become a good teacher, is there already written. Therefore, you have become a teacher. The teacher, you have become a teacher because you have grown, you have studied B.Ed or M.Ed or whatever it is, qualification or whatever the trainings you have undergone, you have become a trainer. There is somebody would have become a teacher by the age of 18, 20. Somebody would have, I know some 18 years girl teaching to the kids, going to the school and teaching. You would have become a trainer at the age of 20, 22. These things are life pattern, what they call script, are written by the kid by the age he or she is 8. Therefore, you follow that script. Therefore, you have become a trainer. But if let us assume you are very unhappy as a trainer, assume you are happy, I know. Neither. I know you are very happy.
Yes.
I know because I can feel that. But let us say you are very unhappy as a trainer and teacher. Then you will go for different programs because you are rewriting the script. Because your adult is aware that you are not very comfortable in this job. Therefore, you will go for other types of training. You will switch your job. There may be somebody in the life pattern, you will say, I am not going to stick to any single job. If you have seen those guys, they will be changing job to job. 5 jobs, 6 jobs, 7 jobs, they would have changed. For example, my daughter is there. She joined as a teacher and she continues to be teacher. She loves to teach. She has undergone a lot of trainings, but she's still teaching English teacher in Baswa International School. Now, Merlin has become a counselor, student counselor. Am I correct, Merlin? In Goa. Like that, you have decided to be a trainer. Therefore, by the age of 8, your practice. For example, I am a banker. But at the age of 8, I do not know about the banking. But I wanted to get into job. Therefore, I joined the job. Therefore, I stuck to the job. Most of my state bank people, once I joined the state bank, 80% of them stick to the job. For example, Shantanu, he came. Shantanu joined as a probation officer, retired as managing director. I joined as a probation officer, retired as CJ. What I'm saying is, but my senior is there, a good friend of mine. He was in SBH, then he went to IDBA, then he went to SIDB, retired as CDH, SIDB CJ. In between, he went to, what is that place? Australia or somewhere, he went and came back. What I'm saying is, it all depends upon your life script you have written by these of 8. But once you are aware, once you are conscious, once you develop the knowledge of TER and other analytical tools, then you may change. Berlin, your question. Nita, I hope I have understood.
Yeah, more or less,
sir.
yeah. More or less, yeah. Thank you.
I know your. Do you know? Definitely you will say more or less. Then I'll share you only one example. You talked about Muriel James. You remember?
Yes, yes.
When I was in Ernakulam, somewhere in '87, I came to know about ICTA, Institute of Counseling and Transactional Analysis. I went to their building. I saw a plaque there, foundation stone laid by Dr. Muriel James. I touched my hand. I felt it. I felt very happy because Born to Win, one of the classic books which has made a major impact in my life.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other
Same
question?
here, same here. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Subbarao.
Good evening. Yes. Is it
Yes,
yes?
sir. Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, in 45 minutes, you enabled us to take a life journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, we all must have played different roles at different times. And your 45 minutes talk enabled us to relive those past moments. You did really help us to take a walk in my memory lane. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Jay. He is Jay Subbarao, your general
Yes, sir.
manager, most intelligent, highly committed officer of State Bank. Thank you, JS. Nice of you. I call him as JS.
Thank you,
Merli?
sir. Yeah, Merli.
Yes, sir. Mr.
Because
Nagara,
Sunanda wants to close it. She wants the last question to be asked by you. Because 7:15
Okay.
you said.
So
Okay.
it's a small question, very briefly. You spoke about the adult ego state and how that adult ego state can come across as positive because it's rational, logical, but the negative is like the person with that state may look unsympathetic, non-feeling. So now I want to ask you this question. When it comes to leadership, there are all kinds of leaders.
Your voice is shaking.
Is it audible to all?
Oh, is okay. Tell me again.
Yes, Merli.
So when it comes to leadership,
Ah.
I've seen all sorts of leaders: parent leader, autocratic leader, that punitive leader, and leaders who are also adult, completely, focused on a task, non-emotional, logical thinkers. But we are in an age right now, 21st century, where leadership is redefined. We're talking about leadership where we have to have a childlike quality to generate ideas, to innovate, and to have the empathy.
Correct.
So, what percentage would you say a good leader should have? Like, how much of adult, how much of parent, and how much of child? What is the ratio you would say?
It all depends upon, let us say you're in the marketing line. You should be a motivational speaker. You should motivate people. You're a counselor. You should have empathy. Let us say I'm a military general or a military captain or army. I will be very adult oriented and sometimes critical parent. No, you're not doing properly. You see the voice I change. Merlin, what is the question you're asking? I'm not in a position to understand. ECP. Merlin, I know what you're saying. I would like to answer you. Again, NP. Okay, Merlin, this is my answer. Adult. This is known as situational leadership style. Depending upon the situation, depending upon the people you are moving with, you should adopt your style. But when I talk with constant adult, that fellow doesn't know how to do that. Constant parent, he doesn't know. Constant child, he doesn't know. Therefore, you should be in a position to see that your psychic energy flows from different ego states, depending upon the situation, depending upon the people you are dealing with. As you said correctly, the marketing man will have a different type of approach. You're a counselor, student counselor. You should be loving, nurturing type. If you're critical, and you should also be natural child, jumping along with them, joyful with them. Therefore, each position, each role defines the type of behavior you have to exhibit. But it all depends upon how your psychic energy flows from one ego state to other state. Do not, please remember how much energy you require, you have to decide. I decide depending upon the bank situation. Sometimes I'm CP, sometimes I'm NP, sometimes I'm adult, sometimes I'm child. All depends upon the situation. Therefore, nowadays they call it as situational leadership style. Your psychic energy should flow freely. Okay. Sunanda, you are going to allow somebody else or shall we stop? Anybody else? Ashok?
I had a small question.
Who is speaking?
Yes,
Who
sir.
is
I had a
online?
small question, sir. Tushar.
Tusharjit,
Yes, sir.
can I see you, man?
Yes,
I
sir.
hope you go ahead, Tushar.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Good.
my question is two-part. It's a little more curious than.
1 second. Sunanda, are you having time?
Sir, with this we can conclude, sir.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, thank you.
So the first question is: can you be in two ego states at the same time?
Mhm.
And can somebody weaponize empathy as a manipulative measure? Can you know what ego state somebody else is in?
First question I understood that can somebody be in two ego states? No. Psychic energy flows so fast, you will be moving from one to other in a very fast manner. But you cannot be in the adult and child at the same time. In the sense, please remember, when let us say you have gone to the beach,
Sir.
Your kid is playing in the sand. When she goes, you will be looking like a nurturing parent. My daughter is or my son is playing. When it goes near, your adult wakes up and goes, no, beti mat jao.
Sir.
You move from your nurturing parent, loving parent to the adult to take care of it. Therefore, in any situation, Tushar, remember, you have to keep adult as the executive. That means adult should be always there watching how the parent is. Are the archaic, unnecessary responses are coming from critical parent? Are loving responses are coming from nurturing parent? Are your child is? I will give a small example. 3 friends, my friends' sons, they have gone to Contaminated for swimming. One fellow doesn't know how to swim. The remaining 2 fellows said, let us go. He also went. He drowned and dead. He was doing engineering. That means his adult is completely dominated by the children of others. He allowed his child to go around with them. Therefore, always remember, in every situation, you cannot mix two. One will be a dominant, but in all the situations, you should always keep your adult as the executive. What is the second question?
The second question is: can somebody weaponize empathy as a weapon to strike against someone if they know which ego state somebody else is in? Because there are states in which I think you will be more vulnerable than the other one. So
I got your point. That is known as a manipulative behavior.
Sir.
That fellow is not open. He is using his technique to put you down, to trouble you, to show false sympathy to you. The empathy is not real empathy. It is false sympathy. He pretends as if he is empathizing with you so that he will pull you down. Therefore, you should always, adult should be there. This man till yesterday was behaving in a different way. Suddenly he's so cuddly. He's taking care of me. What is it? You should be cautious.
Sir.
Somebody suddenly changes behavior means something he's doing there. You understood? Well, people use empathy, sympathy, everything as a weapon to put somebody down, to punish somebody. We, as an adult, we should be in a position to understand from which ego state is operating. Is he manipulative or how he is doing it? Tushar, we should be careful because world is not all nurturing parents, natural childs and adults. There are critical parents, manipulative people, destructive people.
The question is because of the point you were discussing about a critical parent.
Correct.
And an empathetic parent. So when you were
talking a nurturing parent, I said.
A nurturing parent. And when you were discussing the 2 points, this question came to me during that thing, because there are times adults are, when you're growing up, adults can be very manipulative to make you do very, very basic things. They're not evil or bad, but again, manipulation is manipulation.
There are 2 things. One is your parents also sometimes manipulative in a loving way. बेटा ये तुम किए तो मैं अच्छा लड्डू खिलाऊंगा, मैं वो टाई लेऊंगा, मैं आपको एडिडास शू मंगाऊंगा.
So
that is a loving manipulation. But manipulation with an ulterior motive to destroy you, your career, your happiness is a different aspect. Other people should be careful. manipulation means what? Father says, "Arey beta, tum acha marks, first class marks aaye to I will purchase a motorbike for you." It's sort of manipulation, but it's a positive, loving manipulation. Actually, it is trying to cajole you, trying to nurture you, trying to motivate you from a different angle. Generally, I won't call it manipulation. Manipulation is mainly with an ulterior motive. Ulterior motive to gain advantage from your weakness or to destroy you or to trouble you. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you. Sunanda, I leave it to you.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session.
1 second. Ashok, are you from Australia? Ashok? Okay. One of my friends from Ashok is there from Australia. Thank you very much, Ashok. Anyway, you are in a position to hear. I hope Suman is also there. Okay. Sunanda, continue.
Yeah, Merlin, please go ahead with me.
Yes.
Uncle Nabu here, Akansha was telling, Akansha was also waving at you.
Pardon?
Akansha was also waving at you.
Oh,
my friend.
Ashu, how are you? I'm wonderful.
Fine. So Shah was my friend, so I wanted him to join the session, which
Okay,
is
go
why
ahead.
I must ask questions. It was really nice, the session, Tata. You're a great speaker.
Thank you. She is my granddaughter, one of the most close to me. And even if she sneezes, I get shaken. She is that. Her name is Akansha Sharma. She is in Delhi studying BA Economic Honors, Indraprastha College. A loving, wonderful girl. Thanks, Ma. Sunanda, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, Merlin.
Yes.
Oh.
So, Mr. Dinakara, thank you so much for this wonderful session. I would like to say it was simple, very simplified, that all of us, despite our age groups, we were able to relate it to ourselves, our experiences. It was very meaningful and enriching session. And I could see that, you have in-depth knowledge of psychology, human behavior, and relationships. And you shared so much more experiences today, openly from your experiences, and you were able to give us very constructive answers to the questions that we had. So you can be, personally, I felt somewhere that you could be a great mentor, awesome mentor, to even us as therapists, as psychologists, as counselors, because we all need the therapist and mentors for psychologists, and I'm sure there are people over here who will approach you, who come to you for guidance and maybe counseling. And I'm one of those people, okay, although I'm a psychologist, I know because today the way you explained it, you're a very down-to-earth person with this, unique understanding of human behavior. And I want to say thank you to you on behalf of all of us gathered here, all the audience, and Ms. Sunanda, and the whole team of Tech and Positive Mental Health. I also want to thank the audience here for patiently listening, asking relevant questions, and being very, very cooperative. Thank you, Ms. Sunanda, also for organizing this wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunanda, for arranging it. I hope I try to take once in a month session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Good night, everyone.
Oh, Suma.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It was very
Ernakulam. Suma,
Yeah.
Suma is from Ernakulam.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It was very nice.
Happy to see you. I'm very happy all of you have attended. Thank you very much. Nice of. Thanks to Sunanda.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Yeah,
Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, sir.